What's up everyone on the internet? Thank you for making this video part today. I am so excited to upload this one for you guys because of this video we're going to be taking a look at a show that has stirred up a lot of local comments in the Star Wars community, The Acolyte. So this is a show that I have been very excited for because the first time we're branching away from the Skywalker saga, meaning that we're taking a look at a new era of Star Wars that we haven't explored yet, which is the High Republic, which is set hundreds of years before the events of the movies. And as a kid, I was always a fan of the Jedi because they were my favorite faction within the Star Wars universe. And when you look at the films chronologically, we kind of diverge from the Jedi path. Now, what I mean by that, in terms of choreography, from episode 1 to episode 9, the lightsaber fights have kind of died down a bit. So it's nice to see that this show was going to focus a lot on the lightsaber combat. Now, just to be clear, am I saying that the lightsaber duels in The Acolyte are better than what we got in the prequels? Because whether you like it or not, those lightsaber battles were pretty epic. But anyway, going back to The Acolyte, are they better than what we got in, let's just say, Revenge of the Sith? No, but I will say this, they did a lot better than what we got in the sequel trilogy. And even in some of these episodes, we get some crazy Kung Fu style hand-to-hand combat, which I don't think we got any of that in the movies. Because when I first saw that first fight scene, I couldn't help but say, "Round 1, fight!" I just couldn't help but think like a Mortal Kombat style gameplay this could take place in. That was actually pretty fun. But going back to the fighting, it felt very graceful. And in a way, it felt a lot like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. What I mean by that is, when you look at the production standpoint, you see these people doing these crazy flips and the choreography is pretty dang good. And also the wire work, because wow, some of these characters look like they really are flying. So watching these characters swing lightsabers and throw hands at each other, that was pretty cool. One of the things I also liked about the show was Lee Jung-jae's character, Master Soul. Now, to the general audience, he was in Squid Games, which unfortunately I didn't get a chance to watch. But when I heard this was going to be his first English-speaking role, I was pretty amazed that we got this incredibly talented South Korean actor to be in a Star Wars show. Now, no disrespect to the other actors, but he really does carry this show. I mean, he was my favorite character throughout the entire series because I love watching this character go through this inner turmoil process, because from beginning to end, he goes through this deconstruction phase as he deals with the guilt and consequences of his past. Okay, so let's recap. I love that we're exploring the era of the Star Wars universe. I had a lot of fun with the action scenes, and I really enjoyed seeing new Jedi characters. Now, this is the part where I don't want to come off as being a hater, but I'm going to list off some issues that I and some other people have had with this series. For starters, the pacing is kind of wonky. I mean, when you look at shows like Shogun or The Last of Us, in those shows, their episodes last about an hour at least, and also tell definitive plot points in each of their episodes from beginning to end. Now, when you look at The Acolyte, most of the times their episodes, worst case scenario, 20 minutes. On average, 30 minutes. And best case scenario, 40 minutes. And you really don't feel like you're going anywhere. I mean, you see a lot of cool stuff, which I really did enjoy, but once the episode starts to get really interesting, it ends off on a pretty nasty cliffhanger. Another thing that was also a little bit annoying was the lack of common sense, and I'll give you an example. We have character A, and then we have group B. We're in the middle of the forest. Character A is following group B into the forest. Okay, fine. Character A looks behind her and sees the tree. Okay, whatever. Character A looks back at group B and continues to follow them into the forest. Suddenly, character A hears a noise behind her, looks back and sees the tree is gone, and then continues to follow group B into the forest without saying anything. So, yeah, the writing could have been a little bit better. Also, now that I think about it, there are two things I want to nitpick about. Not complain, just nitpick. One of them involves an actor in a specific scene. The other involves lightsaber choreography. Now, going back to the actor, there's a moment that we're in the city, we're in front of this ancient Jedi temple, and we're watching this Jedi shoo away this kid at the front door. Now, when I saw this Jedi, I thought to myself, he looks like someone that came straight out of Galaxy's Edge. More specifically, he looked like a Disney cast member. But anyway, going back to the lightsaber choreography, while I had a lot of fun with it, there's a moment where I kind of did a double take where these Jedi do this specific move where they spin in front of them, they twirl behind them. Now, when I saw that move, I thought to myself, that looked very familiar. And now I think about it, it's the same move that we see Instagrammers and TikTokers use on social media. Anyway, those are my two little nitpicks, but to recap, The pacing wasn't as good as we were expecting, and some of these characters weren't that well written. Now, to be fair, there is one thing that we have to remember when looking at the issues of this show. This is a Disney Plus show, and looking at their track record, we shouldn't be surprised at some of the issues that we had with the writing and direction of story. It's just crazy that whenever one of these new shows comes out, everyone expects movie quality. More specifically, they expect original trilogy quality. And when some of these shows don't meet their high expectations, they just spam the hate comments over and over and over again, expecting a different result. I mean, isn't that the definition of insanity? Now, am I saying that this show is perfect? No, absolutely not. It's not perfect. I'll admit, first half of the season kind of dragged on a bit, and there were a few times where the story is pretty predictable. But I will say, second half of the season does gain a little bit more momentum as we watch these characters get fully fleshed out who were kind of holding back throughout the entire series. And when you look at the finale, I was pretty satisfied. So overall, first half of the season kind of stumbles a bit, but second half does finish strong to where I can say that I did have a lot of fun with this show. With that being said, now I need to figure out where I put this on my Star Wars list, because back in May I did a video where I reviewed every single Star Wars movie and TV show on Disney Plus. Now, does it make my top 10? No, but it does make my top 20. Anyway, if you're interested about learning more about the High Republic, which is the new era in the Star Wars universe that takes place hundreds of years for the events of the movies, where we get a fresh new look at the Jedi, then maybe you should check out this show. With only 8 episodes, it's really easy to binge through. Well, that's going to do this video, guys. That was my overall view on the Acolytes. If you like what you saw, hit the subscribe button so you always updates from this channel. I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye-bye.